thank you so much for coming. And
Thank you for having me.
you're welcome. I'm sure you don't know this, but 2 years ago, I met you at the conference where you were telling your story. So I want to have this woman sharing her story on this platform. I tried to walk up to you, and you were surrounded by so many dignitaries, and I couldn't. So I just said to myself, maybe now is not the time, and maybe some other time. Okay, and fast forward to finding myself in Outsource Global and finding out that you are the CEO of the firm. I said to myself, I must find a way to bring you here. It's such an honor to have you here. Thank you so much, Ma.
The honor is mine. Thank you very much.
Okay, so straight to the question we have here today. I saw a video on YouTube where I heard you say that after school, you decided that you were not going to work for anyone. You wanted to build something of yourself, for yourself rather. And in 2003, you started an IT firm. And currently, this has grown into 3 different locations with over 8,000 plus staff. Now, before we get to 2003 up until 2021, so many persons must have made that decision. They said to themselves, I'm not going to work for anybody. I want to do my own thing myself. Now, I'm not saying that working for someone is a bad thing, so you don't take this out of context. Okay, but I'm saying that I know I've made that decision where I said to myself, okay, I'm not going to work for anyone. I'm going to focus on the things I want to do, and But then that road has not been easy. I find myself in and I'm out, in and I'm out. So I know it has not been easy. So would you mind just sharing with me what the journey has been like from the moment you made that decision up until now?
Okay, thank you very much. I actually didn't make that decision from the onset, right? I'm from Kano, and I schooled in Kano. I got married at a very young age in my second year of university. And going into university, I wanted to study medicine, right? I had good grades to be given that course, but I wasn't. And I was just told that since I have economics as one of the subjects that I studied in secondary school, I can just take business admin. And then during our own time, I don't need to sound very old. Really, what is more important is for you to be in university, to just study, right? So I just took business admin, and by the time I finished university, I really did not know what to do with my life because the plan was for me to be a medical doctor, right? So by the time I finished, I served in a place called Capital Insurance, and I was just thinking, what will I do with my life? My husband keeps on asking me, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do? And I kept on saying, I don't know. But I knew when I served that really working in that kind of setting is not for somebody like me. Because I would like to have my idea. I would like to be heard. I would like to make an impact in whatever organization I'm working in. But in a normal working Nigerian setting, that really is not the case. You're either following what your boss is saying. You're not even supposed to give your idea back, right? And I knew that's not for me, right? So started NIT. NIT, I'm sure you've heard of NIT, is a franchise. A lot of people think that NIT is an Indian company. Yes, it's an Indian company, but they give franchise to Nigerian business owners. And we started NIT. And that was in 2003. And then I finished school. I have two children. When I had both my 2 children while I was in university. So by the time I finished, I got NIT, we started NIT. And we've trained a lot of IT professionals in Microsoft, Oracle, CompTIA, Linux. At some point, I looked back. NIT is not a very cheap organization because most of the cost of books you have has to go back to the owners of technology. Oracle sells their books, the licenses is not cheap. So the courses do not really come cheap, right? People come in, study either MCSE or Oracle or Linux, any of the professional IT courses, and they go back into the market without a job. And I started researching on, so I was thinking one day and I said, I'm not really changing their lives, right? The whole point of establishing this IT training center in Kano, because then there was no IT training center in Kano. So the whole point of establishing it is to provide them with adequate training to find jobs, and they are not able to do that. So I started moving towards what should we do? I kept on asking, what kind of business should I go into that will create a lot of employment for those people? I was just thinking of those people at the time. So I was dealing with a lot of Indians, because NIT is an Indian franchise. I looked at India and I realized that the business that we're into now, BPO, business process outsourcing, provides millions of jobs to Indians. Let me just pause a little bit to explain to you what BPO is. If you call, just putting it very simply, if you call British Airways today, a company in India picks up your call. What companies in UK, US, and the international markets do is they outsource a segment of their business for companies that are in less developed countries where labor is very cheap to handle, while they focus on their core business. So they outsource their calls, they outsource their sales, they outsource so many things. And they focus on, well, given the example of British Airways, they focus on moving people from one place to the other. If you call Emirates, the same thing. A company in India, call you even hear the Indian accent. You'll think you're calling Dubai, but all those calls are routed to a company that handles it for them in India. So, and I looked at the parameters for outsourcing. We have very good English-speaking people here in Nigeria. We have the right infrastructure. We even have better time zone than India to the Americas market, which is the biggest market that outsource. So, and I said, why not Nigeria? It took me 8 years to start the company. I started it 4 times and failed. We started in Kano, got to a certain level, it failed, we moved to Kaduna, started all over again, got to another problem, it failed, I moved to Abuja, started all over again, until the 4th time, that's when we went live. We went live June 2016. So even after going, what I mean by going live, a lot of people ask me, getting to where the business can operate. That is, it's a high capital intensive project. So what we've done from day one is to set it up according to international standard. For us, for me to compete with India, I have to be better than India. India was the focus. And for us to be better than India, we have to put the right infrastructure, better infrastructure than what Indian call centers are putting. We have to put the right processes, better processes than what India is doing. We have to deliver better than India. And for all those things cost a lot of money. So right from day one, when I was thinking of the company, I said we would set it up according to international standard and of the best standard. And that's what we did. So even after going live, I had no idea how to get an American company to outsource to a Nigerian business. We've never done this before. There isn't any reference point to say Nigeria is doing this. There isn't anybody doing it in Nigeria. How will I convince, an American company to move their operations from India to me in Nigeria? So I was thinking one day after setup, and at that time we even were talking to NCC to give us their call center and all that. And I was sitting one day, so I was listening to what the last speaker was saying, right? Reliance on Igbo, right? So 2 things she said that are really resonates with me. One, it's not about money. A lot of Nigerians or a lot of people feel that money is the most important factor. If you look at everybody that has succeeded in this world did not wake up and say, I want to make money. They looked at the value they want to create. I want to create this value, right? And you find those people creating that value and still making that money. Because really, you would be helped, you'll be blessed when you're thinking of what I can do for other people, right? God will now do for you because you're not thinking of you, you're thinking of other people. So I was just thinking, how do I create meaningful employment? That was all I was thinking. I wasn't thinking of how will it make profit, how will it, how will it give back, I will become rich, or I still wear the same thing I used to wear. I'm sure she works in outsource. She just see me with one shoe all through. In fact, when I wore my shoe to this, I was like, I wore this shoe throughout the week, and it will look, but I'm sure she saw me.